God's call to become the best funeral director. I grew up here on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. I wasn't the cool kid, didn't have many friends growing up. I had the privilege to grow up here. And this island then voted best vacation island destination in the world. This island is a beautiful place. I have been very blessed to live on this island. Harbor Town, the flagship of Hilton Head Island. That's where the Heritage Golf Tournament is located as well. Extremely wealthy people that live in Sea Ponds Plantation. People own yachts, they own big property, golf courses, and etc. Me and my family would go to the beach. This was way back in the 2000s. Everything we did revolved around the beach. But my favorite beach is Coligny Beach. It had the big pool, it had the bar, the tiki hut, and the big hotel. So who would complain? Everything is right there. And we would go to the beach all the time when I was younger. But living as a local, we don't do those huge events that the tourists do, because we're all used to it. We just work, provide the services for the tourists to make their time coming to Hilton Head more fun. And my grandparents are huge golfers. They played golf here in the 80s, 70s. And we had a lot of famous lighthouses here as well. We would have other families that had boats, and we would be going out to Defusky. And when we were younger, me and my family would go to Shelter Cove Harbor, and we would watch the fireworks every Tuesday night. This is the property, what it looks like. We had boats everywhere, and we would watch the fireworks every Tuesday night when I was a kid. It was fun. Then we got older and we grew out of that. My parents are at the age that they don't want to do those kind of things anymore. oyster factory where we went kayaking with Warren X Peace and the boys. Here it all began, at the Hilton Head Island Christian Academy, the school that where Ham Pow was told to become the best funeral director in the year 2008. In the year 2003, I came to the Hilton Head Island Christian Academy, and during that span from 2003 through 2010, the Lord has spoken. The Hilton Head Christian Academy was a very good school. I've really enjoyed coming to this school at the time, but I was expelled due to bad choices that I've done when I was younger. The school has changed completely a lot ever since after I left. I was a little boy when I came in 2003. It was very different back in the day, but some of the buildings and here are the same. And it just like, wow, time has flown. I used to go to all the home games at the Christian Academy and Hail Eagles. Over here, we'll be loading up on charter buses to head to New Ebenezer. So, this is the way front parking lot near the pond. We'll be loading up middle school retreat, 2 buses, charter buses, would load up over here around this time. After we get all loaded up, there will be the 8th grade bus, then the 6th and 7th grade bus. And we would all pile up in that bus and head off to New Ebenezer Retreat Center, where the Lord has told me to become the best funeral director. So we will be pulling out of the parking lot. These were big charter buses. I would remember playing punch buggy with a couple of my friends. So imagine we are on charter buses. We're pulling out of the Hilton Head Christian Academy. We would be like saying, road trip! That etc. And we will be singing the chant song.
during the day of the retreat. But at night, that evening, it got cloudy and it poured all night. Imagine this, we are in the charter bus, going down this road in the year 2008. The night before, the Lord has spoken. I have grew up with Trait for the longest time, because this will hit home for him as well. This roundabout was not here. We're getting close. We are here. We will be pulling in with the charter buses. The charter buses will be parked on that field. Right here, we will be getting unloaded.
Over here, we would have our class picture taken. Over here was the Chow Hall. So this is where we would all gather and eat dinner, lunch, and breakfast for the time we were here. And over here was the snack bar. We had Gatorade, we had granola bars. And over here, they still had this on. Don't know what game is that, but was the pool. The girls' cabins were over here. This was bringing back memories, but almost a long time ago, you all know. The field where we would play volleyball, I remember that. And over there is the place where we would have the big bonfires. Never forget. But when we were there, we did not have the big bonfire, but we would have gatherings over there. Sometimes late at night, just be able to hang out with your friends. Then the playground. I remember I sat on the swings and swinged all the time. But there were a lot of other kids that wanted to swing too, so I had to wait in line. But we were young middle schoolers, 6th grade. Tennis courts were over there. This is where the major gatherings we've had, where we all worship Jesus in here. I remember I had a couple of photos taken here, but this is the main chapel. We would all hang out here before those gatherings. Then we're over here with the males, where the male cabins are at. Us guys will turn up. Across the street is where more of the activities took place as well. Over here used to be a huge wall where a lot of us would climb up, and there was like maybe zip lining, if I don't remember, or like a huge wall I remember that we all climbed up. But they tore that down because back a couple years ago somebody was hurt really bad and they were med flighted out from here. So they tore down the wall, and if you follow this trail there will be a lake that connects the South Carolina and Georgia borders. It was a very cool little lake, but I did not go on the kayaks because at the time I was afraid of kayaks because they might flip over. And when we were all done with the activities, We'd go back to the cabins and go to Bible study. And after that, we would go to the main sanctuary and worship. That afternoon, when the Lord has spoken, and I was in this cabin in the year 2008. This is the cabin where the Lord has told me to become a funeral director. And me and my dad sat in these chairs while the rain was pouring. It was that window. And my bunk that I was staying on was right there. I was on the top bunk. It was raining that afternoon. And there was a funeral going on over here. You would see the funeral tent and the people at the funeral. And a group of us, remember one Pacific individual, he was gonna go run over there and mess up the funeral. We were all standing by that door watching the funeral. And I was there too. And that night, when we all went to bed, I was in the top bunk close to that window. It's the night when the Lord has spoken to me. The top bunk, that was the bed I was in when the Lord has spoken. The reason why I was born is to become that best funeral director. This is the cemetery that the funeral was at. And the funeral was somewhere in this area. We were all standing over there watching the funeral. Some of my fellow classmates were just gonna run over here and mess it up. Over here, we would have our class picture taken. Then we'd all pack up, load up back in the charter buses. Then we would head back to the Christian Academy. Then everybody is loaded up into the charter buses and we head out. This is where it all began in my college. This is our documentary where Hampow became famous. It was a huge success. And it broke records. A lot of people realized with this documentary, a lot of people realized that these two individuals came from a very bad situation, but they did not let their bad history affect their lifestyle. I feel like I'm demon possessed. I got demons. Got it. This is the bull of life. Set. Put it on our hearts.
I beat the shit out of that thing though.
I'll never forget it.
Let them come up from their grave.
Do we just take our
The
hand?
military cemetery.
Yeah, he had me like this. If you say anything, I'll be gone.
I'm gonna do mortuary work in the funeral home. You have to be a very special person to do that.
To me, this place is like a studio, sex studio. The smallest things I used to love when I was little. That was what one of my best friends looked like in high school.
And what do you think about this wallpaper? That's me and my girl, what I would like.
Fucking Jesus, I hate you, fucking God.
The Grim Reaper who works for Jesus Christ.
There she is.
I think she'll like everything about my face, my style, my swag, my shit, my piss. Everything about my...
I love how this beat goes. Like this one beat. Gosh, this brings me in a very good mood. I love this song so much.
I graduated here with a high school diploma. It looks like sort of looked like a penitentiary.
The vampire. You call me the Diablo. I am everything. The Diablo, hell on earth, crisis. Who knows?
This is a paint. This is my brother,
Yes.
which I care for. I started my first class in the summer of 2015 at Okichi Tech. I was new to college. I had no idea what to do and what's the true definition of studying, you know? And I had to study a lot. Because in high school, I didn't do much. I got high with my friends. And in college, I had to really be that college student. I always went by the term, work hard, then play hard, from 22 Jump Street, that movie. That was hot back in the day as well. So, I worked hard with my schoolwork, then I played hard with my friends. And that's how college, you're able to be successful of college. This interstate over here is where I got my first speeding ticket. And then that was a very bad decision when I did speeding. Got the double speeder in the state of Georgia. We got miles to go.
This is the apartment complex that I came to in 2015. So it's now the Hudson now. So welcome to college.
This was my first apartment that I moved into in 2015. Above me was the firefighter friend that I had. So I would always hear him responding. I would skateboard all the time. Then over here is where one of my best friends, Ahmed, lived. And another place I would skate around here. And over here is the pool.
Over here of the Dirty Sprite commercial for a school project when I fell off the hoverboard.
Then in the year 2016 going to 2017, I moved to a different apartment building. And same goes with my friend, Ahmed. Right there on the third floor. Y'all will probably remember this one from my recent vlogs in here, in the forum. And over here is where my best friend Ahmed moved to. But he moved back to his home country. I skateboarded along over here. That was my new routine. This is where the basketball gym was. But now it's a boxing ring. This is where we did the Dirty Sprite footage as well. Some of the footage of Dirty Sprite. In the fitness center. Then I would walk to the pawn shop over here up this road.
Every weekend, I'll drive back home, back to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina to work, and my roommates, they would fuss about it every time I had to leave to go back home to work. Then I would drive back to Statesboro every weekend as well for class. I would be on the way to work every weekend.
So this is where my first job was at, Publix, in the year 2008. I started off as a bagger, then worked myself up into grocery. That's my little bag dock that I'm in charge of. So
every summer I would be working overnights. During the day, like around 4 or 5 o'clock every afternoon, I'll be going to the Compass Rose Park, nicknamed Fraser Park. This is Compass Rose Park. In our term, we called it Hampow Station 1. This would be the park where me and my brother would hang around waiting for emergency responses. Because back in the day, we did not have scanners or Pulse Point, the app. So back in the day, we would be listening for them while we were on the benches waiting for the responses. At the same time, we would be thinking and would be getting stress off of our chests, just mellowing out and relaxing at the same time. Then over time, we've got scanners and we've got Pulse Point that would help us with the responses, but we still go to the park anyway. We didn't really have a social life. We were just by ourselves most of the time, but the reason that we record emergency responses is because to be able to serve our community. Famous films was the car fire and the murder scene on Hilton Head Island in the year 2015. My video went viral and I've gotten credit on the video.
And over here is where my other friend lived, Philip and Nate. I met them in fall semester 2015. You see that blue tent? That's the apartment building that they lived in. Then over here is where we flew drones. Asian machine racing drones. Over there and over here. We used to come out here all the time to work on Phil's Tahoe. Then we would have my other buddy Jack. He had a motorcycle. We would rev it up here, out there, in that spot.
Then we would be going to a smoke shop called Smoke Haven. Remember back in 2015, before the football games, we would go to the smoke shop to get some e-cigs and more tobacco for the hookah. where we would hit the hookah.
And this is where I started college at Okichi Tech. I'm studied funeral services here at Okichi Tech.
I would walk in through this door every day in 2015. We would go to the bookstore, and I had a class down this hall. The library has been upgraded for 2020, but the library was totally different back in the day. And those two rooms that I've had tutoring in. I had math class in that classroom and music appreciation in that one. Then I would walk outside. And this is where I would take my tests in, because I had special accommodations to take tests in quiet rooms. So this is the computer lab where I did homework as well. This is the cocktail cafe, basically like the student lounge slash student cafeteria where you could get your hot meals at. This is the Okichi Tech bookstore. We would get all of our school supplies. This is where all my classes were held in this building, JF Kennedy building. And in those classrooms, I've had a funeral class and an English class back in the day. Then down this hallway is where the funeral advisor was at. This first classroom was held for law and ethics, history of funeral services, funeral directing and management, marketing, and all the basics for the funeral service and how to run a funeral home was held in this classroom. Then the next classroom was where chemistry, anatomy, pathology, all of the human anatomy part was in this classroom about the human body. And I remember my very first funeral directors convention I went to in Columbia, South Carolina. It was a blast. It's a nice, wonderful garden that I would see every time I would walk back and forth to class. And I would never forget this location and this beautiful scenery. And outside is where you can eat your food as well. At that awning over there, that canopy over there. And this is where I had my first room where I got tutoring in. Well, way back in 2015, this was the Tutoring Center back in the day. This was the Health Science Building North. And this is the location where I would plan Fall Breakaway 2018. Georgia Chi Alpha edition Fall Breakaway was planned in this building. I was introduced in this classroom to college. was in that chair that I planned Fall Breakaway 2018. Fall Breakaway 2018 was one of the best film because first it was in 4K and the content was better. I've got registered for my first set of classes in the summer of 2015. This is another student lounge area where we would like to sit, and on your left hand side is where I had my first computer class in 2017.
We would have tutoring, then we would walk out these doors and come out here to the pavilion right out there to do studying and homework with my tutor. It was so much fun. In the pond over there. Then over here was a field day in 2016 spring semester, and we had rods, inflatable games, inflatables, and so much fun, and zip lining over here. But it was some cheesy zip line. But this was where the field day was. Then the field day was over, we would go back to class. Then sometimes I would walk over to the natural resource building and take classes over there.
This is the new natural resource building. It was a beautiful building, freshly well done. Left hand side was the small school store. Then, interesting fact, in this huge auditorium, my funeral educator professor, her husband passed away, and she arranged for his funeral to be in this big auditorium. Then upstairs was more classrooms. And I planned Southeast Salt 2019, right here. Southeast Salt 2018 going to 2019 was a very, very weird salt for me. I really didn't like this salt. I was not a huge fan of this salt, but it was also in 4K, and it didn't break much records because everybody knew that Fall Breakaway was in 4K, and this salt was not my favorite. Then down this hallway, I've had a math exam. I've met a lot of Ham Pow fans out there, but these are a couple of my true fans out there. But with the Warren X piece and the boys, now they've been promoted to employees of Ham Pow, helped me run my merch site, and it was very cool that I was able to make a 21st birthday amazing for someone back in the day, and first time riding a jet ski was cool.
Hey, this is Noah Monk from Statesboro, and I hear it's someone over there's birthday today. So I just wanted to say happy birthday, man. I hope it's good, and feel free to call back if you get this birthday, man.
This is Hamilton.
What's up, Hamilton? How you doing?
I'm doing good, and I have my twin brother here. It's his birthday as well, so...
Oh, awesome. Happy birthday, both of you.
Thank you, and...
Hello, Noah. It's me, Hudson, Hamilton's brother.
Hey, guys. Hey. What's up, Lex?
Good. Just want to say thank you for setting this up for us. And, I mean, I am extremely excited and very in shock still, you know?
No problem at all. I mean, Vodcom told me about y'all, and I just wanted to give you guys a call, say what up.
Then St. Patrick's Day 2018 was the best. We blew up the Island Packets newspaper live feed with the fire truck horn. 4th of July, we adopted running flag and holding the flag every 4th of July to thank our military, because we do support our military. Thank you for your services. Land of the free. I bought my very first car from the dealership. January 2018, it snowed really bad on Hilton Head Island. Very first time that it ever snowed like that on Hilton Head, because it usually never snows on the island, but this broke records of climate control on Hilton Head, and it looked like New York. Fall 2015, me and my friends went to the fair on Fair Road in Statesboro, and the fair was so cool. I've never been to a fair before, but when I went with my friends in 2015, it was amazing. I had a lot of fun, but each year the fair had different rides.
Then over here would be flying drones with me and Philip and Adam. This is where we all would have fun at the clubhouse, playing miniature golf and drive go-karts and have fun with the boys in 2015. Over here is the football stadium where I went to my first Eagles game. Me and the boys sat over there. Over here is another location where me and Phil and Adam flew drones.
Okay, this is the most famous haunted place here in Statesboro. In 2015, we flew a drone all up in there. In 1917, this was a meat packing factory back in the day. Myths say it's very haunted here. At night, you would hear screams of the employees here. But the owner of the meat factory owned the Statesboro Bank, went bankrupt. And he lost the bank and he lost the meat factory. So he locked all his employees inside this building, set it on fire, burned everybody inside, and he killed himself. People here in Statesboro believe that the spirits of the employees still roam around here at night. So you would hear the screams. So that's the #1 place here that's haunted. At this cemetery, it's a myth that some of the employees that was burned alive in the meatpacking factory are buried here in the cemetery. There would be some of the older graves, you know, because it was like 1917 or a little bit later when the burning took place. But in the cemetery, there's people that are buried here that worked at the meatpacking factory and were the employees that were burned, you know.
We were parked over here and we had our drone set up. Then we flew all over the cemetery.
In the year 2016, I rode my bike around all through Georgia Southern campus, and I came across this little awning where I met a group of guys making a music video, and that was amazing. We were jamming out to Fuck Up These Commas by Future. And over here was Georgia Southern's landscape, where I took photos when I had my picture camera.
This is the place where one of my friends that I've known since 2015 got married at this hotel. That was the restaurant that was connected to the hotel. We would all eat there for dinner after the wedding. I remember when the haunted forest, my very first haunted forest, I actually paid to go in the forest. Then the next time around I volunteered to help out. Then I started bringing my twin brother here with me every year.
At first, ever since he started, I started too.
Over there is where the haunted forest began. We would put our makeup and costumes on over there. This is where the people would line up, and they do social distance since of COVID.
Day 2.
Then on this little bike trail, I would ride my bike all up and down this little trail. There was like hills and stuff. I would ride to the baseball field to meet up with friends that I only met like that same day and just talk to people at the field.
This is another place where me and Phil flew drones. Yijing Racing. This is the rack where all the students would play soccer and practice for their sports. But for us, we flew drones. We were set up here. Then we would take off. Then when Phil and Adam was in town, Adam had a drone and we would Yijing race on this field.
This was the rack as well, where they had swim meets and where the swim team would practice swimming. And there was an outdoor pool where students could just go for a swim in a hot tub as well. But if you go inside the building, there's an indoor track where you would go upstairs and you would walk around the inside of the building on an indoor track, and there was an exercise room. This building had everything in it.
Over here is where Chi Alpha had a service.
I would ride my bicycle on this route every Tuesday night to go to Chi Alpha at the Rotundra. And in the theater, we would have our plug services, but back in the day in 2016, I would ride my bike on this route to go to Chi Alpha every Tuesday night at 6:30.
This is where I met Chi Alpha.
Before every baptism, we would have a band out there and we would practice drumming, and we would be practicing before the plug at 7 back in the day, and we would have baptisms out here. I remember we had a plug service in this building and it was a beautiful inside. Back in the day, we did not have Starship self-driving robots to deliver your food. We were in St. Louis and we've discovered Lime scooters, those app-operated scooters. We would have most of our services in the Russell Reunion Theater. This is where the plug services would be always held. We would always hang around the outside of the theater and we would talk before the services and get to hang out with each other. Then when the service comes around, we go into the theater and we listen to the message at the plug. This was the student cafe at Georgia Southern. We would have Chick-fil-A and other restaurants in there, and we had classrooms on the upstairs. In the year 2019, before I got kicked out of Chi Alpha, we had our plug services moved up to this classroom. Sometimes after the services, we would go out to the Chi Alpha house to have bonfires and be able to sit back and relax with your friends and learning about God.
Where most of the movies were about, you know. I met Chi Alpha of 2016. Had brought me back to the Lord. When I first went to Chi Alpha, it was Pastor Steven. It was totally different. The Lord called him to do something else. Then Miss Mary came in. She was an angel. She was a huge part of my life. Doing God's work is our passion. When Miss Mary came, I've started films with Chi Alpha. First film with Chi Alpha was Fall Breakaway.
In the Eye of Ham Pow in Fall Breakaway. This was my first Chi Alpha retreat, and this was my favorite Fall Breakaway of all time. This one beat it the second Fall Breakaway. We had more cooler things to do at this breakaway, and the message was amazing.
That whole retreat was my first. Southeast salt. Ham Pow takes a pinch of Southeast salt.
This was my favorite salt. I've really enjoyed this salt. I've connected with a lot more people during this salt. I just loved how this salt fell into place, and some of these people that I've connected with at this salt have broke off from me because they thought I was mentally challenged. So I had fans and friends tell me, fuck them. They could kiss your ass. And that's what they're gonna do. They can kiss my ass.
That was a success. That broke records. That destroyed records. Winter of 2018 going to 2019, Ham Pow kind of broke off because Chi Alpha did not see the value of my movies. And I got real butthurt about it. Then I went back. We were saying goodbye to Miss Mary because the Lord told her to plant a Chi Alpha in Atlanta. Fall of 2019, things went downhill. Josh, me and him didn't really get along that much. I mean, I was that goofy special ed kid. And he was new with this whole era. When Josh came in, it was totally different. I went to the plugs for fall 2019. It was very interesting because first, I went to Carolina XA because we had to evacuate from Hurricane Irma, which was a shit show. Emailed some of the people at the Chi Alpha in Columbia if I could go join a plug service. They said, sure, come on in. So I went, then next week came, I came back to my home, Chi Alpha. I explained what I did. I was like, I went to Carolina, I wanted to see what other plugs they had. Then after the plug that one Tuesday, Josh told me he needed to chat with me the next day at the Chi Alpha house, which this is Chi Alpha house. Okay, so then on Wednesday, I came to the Chi Alpha house, right here. But I was kicked out because, let me tell you something. The reason I was kicked out of Chi Alpha at the time is because I was talking to Josh of my interests, and it was satanic. And Josh's job was to preach the gospel. At the time, I was heavy in Jimmy Don. Horrorcore rapper, Sick Fucks Entertainment. That was his record label. I got so fixated on that. Josh cannot have people like that. So, basically kicked me out in a very friendly manner. But now, a year later, me and Josh talked again. But, I mean, I've grown out of Chi Alpha now. I'm like old now. So, I mean, I'm too old for Chi Alpha. So, I had my time. And Chi Alpha brought me back to Christ. I was doing so poor middle school and high school. I was so far away from Christ. Then when I went to college, I was addicted to marijuana. And I got in trouble. My first year here in college, I got in trouble. The Lord brought me back to Christ with Chi Alpha. So, what will I remember about Chi Alpha? They brought me back to Christ, and I'm more stronger in my faith to Christ. And it really brought me back. I'm very close with the Lord right now. Because back then I was far away, but now I'm closer to Him. Thank you, Chi Alpha, for your services. If I could have didn't follow the Lord, my life will be all fucked up. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me the path of Chi Alpha. Fall 2019, I was planted at Episcopal Church. Because at the time, I thought Chi Alpha hated me. They didn't appreciate my work. But here, it was better. I'll never forget this because these people were amazing.
January 2020, Hampal bought a Honda Ruckus, and we used this Honda Ruckus for DoorDash and for our emergency response videos. Summer 2017, I moved out of the forum. Then, in the fall 2017, I went to my friend's house to sleep there so I could save money on rent at the forum. So I stayed at my friend's house until 2020. And this is where the Salt and Pepper Show was formed.
Here we are, Hamilton Channel 6.
Welcome to a new TV series of Hampal.
This is Stunner 49. We're also going to be a part of this new TV series that's coming to YouTube. Exclusive. Check your local listings. Wait, there aren't any. It's on the internet.
This show was a huge fail. It was not a success. The show was discontinued right after the last season. The last thing that I've done in Statesboro with my friends was riding the go-kart before COVID-19 hit. Then once COVID-19 hit, the country was shut down. My experience with COVID-19, I made a lot of money. COVID-19 destroyed a lot of things in this world. I've Instacart on Hilton Head. I DoorDash on Hilton Head. This has been Ham Pow's college experience in Statesboro. I've enjoyed my college years here. You only get one college life in a lifespan. I've enjoyed my college life.